In this short video, I'm going to use WinSCP to log into my eLocker and do a little bit of cleanup. So first I launch it. And I had earlier saved an account. One is bad, so I'm going to delete that. And the other one is good, and you can see the settings, sftp.cbcc.edu with my ID. So I'll log in with that and use my password. And this connects me to my eLocker. Now I've got a bunch of stuff here. You will probably have a lot of stuff here if you've been a student a while. If you haven't, this may mostly be empty. And the key is you have to create this public_HTML folder. It has to be spelled exactly like that. Now in there I have a bunch of different things. So I'm just going to make a new folder and call it archives. And I'm going to put a Z in front of it with an underscore so it alphabetizes at the end. And I'm going to put my other stuff in there. This way it's kind of like I'm starting from scratch. So when you first start, you'll have something like this, only you won't have a folder called archives. You'll have nothing. So depending on the class you're in, you're going to make a new folder, new directory, and you could call it Web110 if you're in that class, or you can make another one called CTI110 if you're in that class, and so on. Now bear in mind that the way you should normally work is you create a corresponding local HTML folder on your local computer. So I did that in an earlier recording, which you may or may not have watched. I saved it to my desktop here. So I go to my desktop, and sure enough, here's local HTML. So I'll double click on local HTML here and go into that, and I had created some folders there. So a folder here should correspond to a folder there. And when I go into CTI110, I go over to CTI110, and up in the top you can see here I'm in my C drive on my desktop, local HTML CTI110, and here I'm in public HTML CTI110. So whatever I do over here should correspond over here. You've got to get in the habit of doing that. So simple example, I'll go to my desktop, and here you see my local HTML folder, and let's just say I open up Notepad and I type something very simple like blah de blah blah, and I save that. And where do I save it? Well, I save it into local HTML, and we'll save it into, I don't know, Web110, and I give it the name blah.htm. Now it's not really HTML, but we wanted to call everything HTML or HTML. So now I have this blah file. Now I go back to WinSCP, and I go to my Web110, which is here, and I see this file called blah. I also had one called home from before, and I make sure to go to the same place on the server. So now once again they correspond. Local HTML Web110, public HTML Web110. The difference is they don't match. My local has an images folder, a blah file, and a home file. So the idea now is to synchronize them, and we can do that simply by dragging them over one at a time. Say, do you want a copy? Say yes. Or I can grab all of them, and or maybe not. Hold the Shift key and select them all and drag them all. Now I already did one, so it's going to say, wait a minute, there's already one there. Do you want to overwrite it? I check the time, and in fact they're the same files. So I'll say sure, and now they match. So now let's say blah de blah is not really descriptive enough. So I go back to that blah file, and I write blah de blah blah blah, and now I save that again. Notice I haven't even closed this file, so this is how I'm going to mostly do my work. I go back, and now I have a new copy here, and you can confirm by looking at the time. See, it says changed, and it says 9:12, and if I were to look down in the lower right hand corner of my PC, it would say that it's 9:12. This time I've only changed that, so I'm going to upload it. Copy. It says, hey, there's already one over there. I can look at the time. Now 9:12 is newer than 9:11, so I say sure, and there it is. And then finally, once we've uploaded this, we want to actually make sure it's there in the browser. So I'm going to open browser, and we'll do that and bring this kind of within earshot of here. And I'll go to my URL, students.cbcc.edu, with a tilde, my name,